Hello, this art tip is about connecting shapes. Often as beginners we tend to paint each element in a painting, whether it's a landscape or a portrait or a still life such as this, as individual shapes, and we don't connect them. They start to look what I call bitsy. You have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but they don't actually come together as a painting. So this is about connecting shapes. And I did a video a few months ago on soft edges and hard edges and lost and found edges. And what we're talking here are about the lost and soft edges. When we look at our subject, no matter what it is, we squint our eyes and we look for areas that merge together. The values are very similar. The colors don't have to be. It's all about the values being similar, or where things just are soft and they just merge into one another. In this particular painting we have an apple on the shadow side that is very similar in value to the value of the pillow. They're both about the same darkness, different colors but similarities in the values. So how I would paint this to make it go together, to merge together, would be paint them right side beside one another while they're still wet. Now I'm going to darken this base of this pillow here because it needs to go quite dark, especially in the shadow areas, quite dark. I'm going to put a little blue down here to really darken it. And this is a little damp, which is what we want. I'll go right into painting this red apple. Now on the light side of the apple I'll use a lighter, warmer color of red over here. It's in the light. And as it goes over into the shadow side I'll use some alizarin crimson and make it darker. Now this needs to go much darker. It needs to match the value as that's what's on the pillow. So let's put some ultramarine blue in here, a little heavier, and a little heavier application of alizarin crimson to make that dark, dark red of that apple. Let's go even darker. And while it's wet, both of them are still, this is still very damp and this is actually very wet. I'm going to go ahead and touch that green. Touch that green right there and let those merge together. You can't see the value shifts between the two, and so we let them merge right together. Now the shadows underneath, see this shadow right here? I'm going to merge it also. So I'm going to put a little blue down here and let them both touch the apple and the pillow at the same time. Now we can carry this on over. You know, how do we get these two connect? Well, look at the shadow shapes that are between them. This apple connects to this. Actually, you start over here with the bottle shadow underneath, and connects to it's the bottle itself. And then the apple connects to this, the vase, and so on and so on. And having those connections underneath are what makes the painting come together. It looks more cohesive. Again, I'm going to use a little warmer color of yellow on this side. Should be a lot warmer and lighter actually, but we'll use that. Lighten up a bit. And then on this side I will go a bit darker. In this particular photo they don't actually overlap, but we can still connect them with the shadow shape underneath. Pick up a little of this yellow that's down low and connect them, connect on this side. And now those items connect together. Same way back here with the vase, the bottom of the vase can connect right with this apple here. And again, underneath the bottle, we'll connect with its shadow shape, this shadow shape of this fold of fabric that's right here. So now you can see how these move together. Same way up in the flowers. If you squint your eyes, I'll soften that edge just a little bit. It's supposed to be clear glass. I'm going to soften that. If you squint your eyes and you don't see a particular shape or color that's back in an area like this, then paint it as one solid shape. Now when you see two colors, here's a pink and a yellow, that merge together, you really can't tell where one ends and the other one begins. Then paint them that way. Paint them side by side and let them merge together. So you paint the whole thing that way by connecting those shapes and connecting and connecting, and the whole painting will then come together as one. Now this just happens to be a still life. This applies to portraits, landscapes, any subject matter. Let me show you another one. This is why people like to paint with a black and white photo often, because now it eliminates color and all you can see are the values. And look at her coat, how it merges completely with the shady, grassy area underneath her chair. Same way with the sole of her shoe. You don't see where it ends and the dark grassy area begins. And the same goes for some of the shaded areas in her coat that merge into the back of her chair. So that is how you would paint that. You would connect those with each other because they are similar value. Let me show you a little bit. I did a quick sketch of this. So if we were going to do this dark coat, it's very dark. You can see how dark a value that is. So let's make it a dark navy blue. And we'll just lay this in here. It's really dark in here. And there's a fold that's away from the light, the sunlight. You can see how there's some lighter areas in here and then darker areas in here. So we're going to make this quite dark. Just quickly put it in here so we can move on to the grass. And we'll lift some areas of light that are folds in her coat. We'll make it just a little bit darker, especially on this inside here where you can't really tell. This is ultramarine blue and neutral tint mixed together. Okay, so now we go to the grass, which is, like I said, very dark. So let's make a dark green. You can see that's a little bit of phthalo green with some ultramarine blue mixed in. And we're just going to touch that coat right there. You can't tell where it ends and begins, and so that's how we're going to paint it. And on over to here, got some grasses back in there, looks like a few shapes of grass. So we'll put some shapes back there. And on over here. And then again, right underneath her shoe, we're going to add that shadow shape. And we're going to mix a similar value in a brown, like the sole of her shoe there. And paint it right up next to and touching the green. Because when I squint, you hear about people squinting all the time. That's what they're doing. when I squint, I can't tell where one ends and the other one begins. So that's how I'm going to paint it. You can see by doing this, and that really throughout the painting, where something merges into something else, you paint them together. You can't tell where her jacket is and her shirt is here, so you might paint those together. You might paint her hair that merges right into the back of her collar there. All of those would be painted together and merged as one. And you can see by doing that it does bring the whole painting together. It looks like it's belongs together. It's very cohesive, and it makes a much more pleasant painting. Hope that helps explain how to connect shapes and looking for shadows and looking for edges that merge with each other in value. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you.